The news just keeps getting better and better if you're an Atlanta Falcons fan. And this is one of those weird ones where if you're not sure or if you've been new to this channel, we love talking football. We're Lions fans. We don't hide that, but we love football, especially the teams that the national media ignores. And two of the teams that we cover on here are within the South, actually three, and they're all rivals of each other. The Falcons, the Bucks, the Saints. We talk about these teams, but the Atlanta Falcons make a statement here. They go into Tampa Bay. They get a victory. You thought that this might be the case with Tampa Bay playing without two great proven receivers, but they threw the ball all over the place, and the Falcons still found a way to win. So let's actually kind of just talk about it a little bit. Let's talk about what this is and why the win was even better than you originally thought. And I have a few things that I absolutely want to talk about. And a lot of it comes within the division. So far this year, the Atlanta Falcons. Now, one of the things the NFL schedule makers do is they like to put divisional games late in the year. Well, apparently they forgot about the Atlanta Falcons for this because they have beaten the Saints, all right, in week 4, 26-24. They beat the Bucks at home, 36-30 in an instant classic type of game. All right, they beat the Panthers the very next week. So 3 weeks in a row, they got 3 wins in a row against the division. I made a video about it just 2 weeks ago about how now the Atlanta Falcons are primed. They're in chief position to win it all. And by win it all, I mean the division. And then they go out and they kind of lay a goose egg against the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks came out. They were 3-3. The Seahawks needed to find a way to prove something, so that's exactly what they did. But then they come back out. They go on the road to Tampa Bay. They are now 4-0 in this division. They are 5-3. They have taken a stranglehold on this division, and I think the question because of that is no longer if the Atlanta Falcons are going to make the playoffs, but it now turns to when the Atlanta Falcons make the playoffs. I do believe we are at that point with them. And when you're asking me the question of why is that, well, it's pretty simple. The Panthers are not a threat in this division. The Saints are no longer a threat unless they find a way to beat the Chargers. I'm looking at the game as I'm recording this. It's 2-3 in the second quarter. Okay, just in case you're wondering what kind of team they are playing like. So we've got that going on. The remaining schedule is not that hard. There are no, I think when I look at their entire schedule and what's left, I don't think they have one game that was against a playoff team from last year, except the Cowboys, which is the next game. So they have the Cowboys. I'll even show it to you on the screen right here. They have the Cowboys. Then they go to New Orleans, all right? Still probably going to be without Derek Carr. They go to Denver. That'll be a fun game to watch. They're at home, good home cooking against the Chargers. Go to Minnesota, who's starting to come back to earth. At Las Vegas, you don't know what you're going to get, but that team has not been great thus far, all right, even though they're playing well against the Chiefs right now. The Giants, the Commanders, and the Panthers. These are all winnable games. These are all winnable games in the back half of this schedule. This back half of the schedule is always favorable. And so when you look at that, plus you look at the fact that they're 4-0. So now, and plus you look at the fact that they've swept the Bucks, which are the only real competition in their division. It really is. It's the only real competition in their division. And the Bucks, by the way, have almost the exact same schedule going down the road, except they were a first-place team. So they still have the Chiefs. They still have the 49ers. All right, they still have the Cowboys just like you, and then other than that, it's all similar games. Panthers, Chargers, Raiders, Panthers, Saints. So they get some of those gimme games, but you're a game up. In essence, it's actually 2 games up because you have the tiebreaker against them. The second thing that I think was even better news than we thought before, this defense, while giving up a lot of passing yardage, and I understood it, and I still don't understand why that's happening so much other than lack of pressure, is starting to create and force turnovers. That is really good news. You have 2 very talented safeties. You have decent talent at corner. If you can find ways to continue to create turnovers, those games are going to continue to be victories. So the continued good news, I said it already. This team now, they're getting better every week. It's the new coaching staff, the new offensive coordinator, the new quarterback. All right. Everything is starting to click and get into position for this team now. Kyle Pitts, 4 catches today for 91 yards on 5 targets. Just Darnell Mooney is starting to prove that he is a legitimate number 2 or even number 1 type receiver. He's out there looking for Kirk Cousins like Justin Jefferson did. All right, he's not him. He's not. But there's some similarities in kind of the way they do things. His contested catch is not there at this point, but the route running and things like that are getting better and better and better, and it's a lot of fun to watch. It truly is. So now this team can just focus on getting better. This team can just focus on winning games, and they can realize, like, hey, they're sitting in the driver's seat when it comes to the AFC South. And that division is interesting because the Bucs are not a bad team. They're just not. They're not a bad team. But the Saints are not good. The Panthers are very bad. And so it's a very interesting division. I think a couple weeks into the season, we had no idea what was going to happen. The Bucs were coming off a win against the Lions. The Falcons were looking pretty good somehow and winning games. And the Saints' offense looked unstoppable. They've come crashing back to earth. You have Kirk Cousins. He's not going to beat you with extreme athleticism. We know that. But, man, can he make good decisions. He's been in this league a long time, and he looks very comfortable in this offense and with some very good weapons. I think that my main takeaway from this game is that, yes, Tampa Bay got more yards through the air. They actually had more total yards than the Falcons did. But it took Kirk Cousins 29 passes to get to 276 and 4 touchdowns. It took 50 passes for Baker to get the 330. He had 3 touchdowns, but he also had 2 interceptions. This is what good teams do. They are efficient on offense, and you are efficient. In fact, your offense is starting to remind me. I said I'm a Lions fan. It's starting to remind me of what the Lions do. You have a really good receiving core. You have a very talented tight end, and then you have that 2-headed monster at running back. Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier. And look, I know Falcons fans, I know you love you some Tyler Algier. All right, he's good too. And I'm also sure at part you're like, give Bijan the ball more. They are prolonging Bijan Robinson's career. What is he, like 21, 22 years old? Like, they are prolonging his career. The Detroit Lions just did the same thing. They signed David Montgomery to an extension to keep him here for another 3.5 years. Why are they doing that? So they can prolong Jahmyr Gibbs' career. Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs are the 2 best young running backs in the National Football League, and you want them playing well into their late 20s, even to 30, because we are now starting to see in the NFL that elite running backs, guys like Derrick Henry, guys like Saquon Barkley, even Jacobs, like there are elite running backs that Bijan Robinson is in that fold of. They can play well into their late 20s. So, yeah, you want to get 6, 7, 8 years out of this guy, and they're doing that smartly with Tyler Algier as they're sharing reps. So they're going about it the right way. They're efficient. You got the 2-headed running back monster. The turnovers are starting. I'm reading my notes here. They are in the driver's seat to win the South. So playoffs, while not a foregone conclusion, they're not. Now you can just play to make your team better, and you don't have to worry so much about what's going on in the division. And that means a bye in your first week because you are a division winner. All right. Maybe. All right. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.